Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 138 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and coming up in today's episode we finish off the group stage of the Champions League for 2032 with our last two games away at Napoli and at home to Sochi. Hopefully we can hold on to top spot in the group to make sure that we do get top seed when we do get into the first knockout round draw for the Champions League, which will hopefully be later in today's episode as well. But if you are looking forward to this one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But yet again, we have played no competitive games off the back of where we left things at the end of yesterday with our end of season review and that 1-1 draw away at Ajax. Before that, if you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it in the top right corner. Not much news off the back of that, but we are playing Napoli in the first game of today's episode. With the way that the points table does stand in our group, if we pick up a win here, that will guarantee us top spot going into the knockouts, and that will mean that second game against Sochi doesn't really have too much riding on it, albeit that should be a game that we are very, very much capable of winning at home. But there is just one little update that we do need to give you guys before we have a look at our opposition for this upcoming game away in Napoli, and that is the fact that Basaro Gay has decided to go on holiday. That is off the back of a recent international break. Unfortunately, he comes back one day off the back of this Napoli game, so that is a big blow for us. Hopefully doesn't prove too costly, but with Basaro Gay missing, that just means that Brynjar Galtason comes into the starting 11 for him. That's the only change. Our bench exactly the same as it otherwise would have been, so not too many changes there, just that change at DM with Basaro Gay not quite back from his holiday off the back of a recent international stint with Senegal. Off the back of that game in yesterday's episode against Ajax, well, a quick look at Napoli going into this one. Of course, currently find themselves second in the group. They could still get overtaken by Ajax because those two teams play on the last match day, but currently they actually find themselves in quite a bit of trouble in Serie A. They are down in 17th, so really I'd like to think this is a game that we are capable of winning against the team who are just outside that relegation zone in Serie A, but they are certainly struggling there with Nuno in charge. We bet them fairly comfortably scoreline-wise in the home league in the first game of our Champions League group, albeit I do think the scoreline did flatter us on that occasion, and away from home this is probably going to be a little bit tougher. But as I said, the way that they are going domestically, hopefully we can pull off a win here and make sure we are going to go through to the knockouts in top spot. And we will come back shortly and get straight into the action from the Diego Maradona Stadium as we take on Napoli. And here are the team sheets for this first game of today's episode. We ran through ours before, but there is Napoli, as you can tell by the league table, not in too great a form. Most of their more familiar players are on the bench these days. I think there is our team. As I said, Galtason comes in for Gay, but hopefully we can pick up a win here and, as I said, secure top spot for the knockouts. And 6 minutes into this one, we have the first highlight is a free kick here to Napoli, albeit from inside their own box. The goalkeeper takes it short and now pumps this deep, but hopefully one of our defenders will win this back, and indeed Kenny Boreal given a lot of time there to take a good first touch and control possession for us as we start to look to play out from the back. Elias Anderson will play that back for Husavik, and he pumps that out to Kenny Boreal. Can we get something going here down our left-hand side to start this game? As I said, a win here would take all the pressure off for the second game of today's episode, albeit we might already have done enough here to go for a top spot. Good chance there for Chaka Traore, but that shot is pretty safe into the hands of Sanchez, and still 0-0 approaching the 10-minute mark. And just shy of the 20-minute mark, we have our next highlight. Yet again, we are in possession, playing out from the back here. Boreal and Anderson just having a little bit of a pass game there, and they pump this now forward a little bit to Kalen Rakasan. Nice ball over there for Nicholas Zimmerman inside the box. He squares this for Lassana Doumbia, and he puts that in the bottom right corner. And after it took us a long time yesterday to get a goal against Ajax after a big spell of domination, this time we open the scoring on the 20-minute mark. Nice ball there from Rakasan out to Zimmerman right on the edge of the box, and then Lassana Doumbia just puts that inside that near post. 1-0 Volsungur after 20 minutes. And we go forward to the 34-minute mark for our next highlight, right off the back of Nicholas Zimmerman picking up a yellow card. So we've just told him to ease off tackles while this highlight does start before that happens, but a good interception there. And we are on the counter-attack, albeit Chaka Traore takes a little bit of time, but Lassana Doumbia will grab himself a double. What a hit that is from outside the box, puts that nearly into the top right corner. And 10 minutes shy of half time here, we have a 2-0 lead and already might have gone a long way to securing top spot in this group heading into the Champions League knockouts. Doumbia given a ton of space there, pumps that into the back of the net, and it's 2-0 Volsungur, 10 minutes shy of half time. And a couple of minutes before half time, we are down the Napoli end for the first time with them in possession as they try and get something here before half time. Put that into the mix, a good chance that for RDRs, but his header goes over the bar, so we are still 2-0 up. And only a few minutes off the back of that first chance there that we have seen for Napoli, we are back down our end for a front, and Kenny Boreal will put a ball here into the mixer. Zimmerman squares that for Adam Saki. He bundles that into the bottom left corner. We're just going to have to wait here for a VAR check because I'm not too sure if he was offside or not. That might have been quite a close call. If we make it 3-0, that would surely have been game over, but unfortunately that goal has been ruled out for offside. We'll just see this. It must have come from this header from Zimmerman. That is a very, very close call, but this time VAR goes against us, so it should remain 2-0 going into half-time, albeit right off the back of that ruled out goal. We do have a highlight starting from the free kick there to Napoli, and Mateus makes his way down their right-hand side. We'll play this back in for their right back in Carvalho, the captain Ricky, and back out to Mateus. So it looks like in this highlight, they are trying to attack us down the right-hand side. Of course, they did have a pretty good chance there at the 40-minute mark, but their striker blasted it over the bar, but their centre-back on a yellow card plays that over to Venegas, and now the man who did miss that good chance, Diaz, plays that up to Mateus, gets him behind our defence. It's a good chance there for Ribeiro, but a decent save that from Husavik, and that will keep it at 2-0 at half-time. A very good scoreline in a game which could secure us top spot in this group. Quite an even game stats-wise so far, but we have been clinical with our chances in front of goal through Lassana Doumbia. Doesn't look like there's any reason to make a change going into the second half, and hopefully we can hold on to a win here to secure us top spot in the group. And only a few minutes into the second half, we do have a throw-in to start things off here at the 49-minute mark. Kalen Rakasan plays that back to Galtason, and it looks like here we might go all the way back to our goalkeeper, although Hurlurvik, interesting option there, hitting that back to Elias Anderson, and then Galtason with a back flick, but we now start to get on the attack here, trying to play a ball up for Chaka Traore, and it is a clearance there from the Napoli goalkeeper, but here's a chance for Zimmerman, squares that for Chaka. He puts that in the bottom left corner, no offside this time, and surely that's going to seal us top spot in the group with only 40 minutes left in this one. We are 3-0 up here against Napoli away from home so far. A very good clinical performance from us in front of goal. Nice ball there from Levan Tan. Good header from Zimmerman, very much like the one for the goal that did get ruled out this time. That is onside from Chaka Traore, and it's 3-0, 5 minutes into the second half, albeit not too long off the back of that. We are down the other end as Napoli have a throw-in of their own. Martinez keeps the ball. They put a ball over for Thomas Sushik, who came off the bench at halftime. He will put that one in the bottom left corner as well, and that gets it back to a 2-goal advantage, but still, you would like to think that's going to be a big enough one for us to hold on to. Nice ball that from Venegas. Our defence just caught out their good run from Sushik, and it's 3-1 early in the second half. And up to the 65-minute mark for our next highlight off the back of a goal to each side to start off the second half. We did there have a goal kick, which we did take short. Kenny Boreal in possession, plays that over to Elias Anderson. Galtason, we're just trying to play this out from the back. It does look like as Napoli putting us under a little bit of pressure here to start off this highlight, but we do still have a 2-goal lead here going into the last 25 minutes, albeit that's a little poor from Nicholas Zimmerman there on a yellow card, bit of a poor first touch there, and Napoli do get possession back. Bjorkan is on the ball, plays that to Venegas. Diaz keeps this just outside the box. Mateus now, and there for Martinez on the volley that comes off the crossbar, so a decent chance there for Napoli to close the gap, but thankfully the woodwork comes to our rescue. We are going to take off Nicholas Zimmerman at this stage just on that yellow card. I think it's a good time to take him off. Coming on for him will be Fabio Mariano, as we're still up by 2 goals with 23 minutes left. And only a few minutes off the back of that first substitution, we are going to make another as Sochi have grabbed an equaliser there against Ajax, which could make things quite interesting in this group. But Chaka Traore down to a red heart. Frederick Larson to come on for him. And again, only a few minutes off the back of that previous substitution, we are going to make our last one, I think, of the players on red hearts now. Levan Tam might be the best player to come off Ian Carlo to come on for him. Still up 3-1 as we are about to approach the last 10 minutes. And we are inside the last 5 minutes of this one, and Napoli do have a throw, and we have started the time waste here inside the last 5 minutes, but a nice ball over there for Mateus, and Elias Anderson slide tackles that one into the back of the net. That's a little bit poor there from the Danish centre back, and with only a few minutes left in this one, Napoli might have a chance here to pinch a point off us, which would be very disappointing, of course, after being up by 3-0 early in the second half. To be fair to Anderson, if he didn't get to that, the Napoli player probably would have just hit a tap-in, but that makes things very interesting here inside the last few minutes. As you can see, Sochi actually currently hold a 2-1 lead, but just as I say that, Ajax do grab an equaliser, but thankfully it does look like there are going to be no more highlights in this one. We pick up a 3-2 win away in Italy, and with that we guarantee ourselves top spot in this Champions League group with a game to play. 2 goals in the first half there to Lassana Doumbia, a very good second goal from him from outside the box, and then Chaka Traore early in the second half made it 3-0. They did come back at us in that second half, did Napoli, but we just did enough there to pick up a win, and no matter what happened in the other game there between Sochi and Ajax, which could actually have quite an impact on who finishes second in this group, but no matter that result, we have now guaranteed ourselves top spot for the Champions League first knockout round draw, which is good. Our next game is at home against Sochi, with us already having guaranteed top spot in the group. What I think we're going to do, because it's a game we really should be winning quite comfortably, we'll come back, show you guys the highlights of that one, and then we'll get straight into the Champions League first knockout round draw. And we are back, having just played the last game of our Champions League group stage against Sochi. We will show you guys the highlights. We haven't quite got to the draw for that first knockout round yet, because something else has come up for the last match day of the group stage. But here is what happened in our last game at home to Sochi. 10 minutes gone, we had a corner, and Ali Ramadan got his head on the end of that to make it 1-0. And then 10 minutes later, Kenny Boreal here, just inside the byline, plays that to Kalen Rakasan just inside the box and finds Chaka Traore, who puts that bottom right corner to make it 2-0. And then another 10 minutes gone, yet again a corner, but this time Basaro Gay just gets that one through the goalkeeper's hands to make it 3-0. That was the halftime score. About 10 minutes into the second half, Boreal puts a ball over there for Adam Saki. He puts that one away, which is good because his form of late just dropped off a little bit, but looks like he might have found it with that goal. And then with about 20 minutes left, we made it 5-0. Chaka here finds Kalen Rakasan, just does enough there to beat the Sochi goalkeeper, and we end things in our group with a 5-0 win, which means that we go through in top spot in quite nice fashion as well, having not lost a game of the Champions League for the first time in this save. So here's what our group looked like once everything had happened. Napoli did pick up a win away at Ajax, so that means that they go through in second spot with 10 points. But as I said, we did not lose a game for the first time. We go through on 16 points to go through in quite some style as top qualifier from our group. Ajax are going to be down in the Europa League, and Sochi do get knocked out of European football altogether, which is actually quite useful because, of course, the team that we are looking to jump above on the coefficient table this season is Russia. So any points that we can deny those guys of is a bonus to us here in Iceland. But the bigger news potentially here is that we have finally had some plans made for the new stadium that the board this time last season said they were going to build, and it is the Me Arena. You love to see it, and that is good indeed, because finally we can start playing some Champions League games at home, get a bit more money coming in to the club, as well as the demand for attendance for our games has gone up quite a bit, even in the league over the last few seasons. Once we have started to reach the later stages of these European competitions, it's going to cost us around about the £14 million mark, albeit some of it's going to get offset once they do sell the Husavik Heroes. Once this does get completed, there's also some additional funding with a stadium sponsorship, but the Shaun Arena is going to be built, and it will be finished late in 2034. So only a few more group stages worth of playing our Champions League games in a different city to Husavik, and in a few years' time we will be able to play some Champions League football in our hometown for the first time in this save, which is very good, as well as the fact they've named the stadium after me. So the meet arena is going to be built in a few years' time. We'll just go forward another day or so and get to that first knockout round draw now for the Champions League and see who will be playing in tomorrow's episode. And we've gone forward nearly a week off the back of those plans being revealed for the new stadium here at Volsungur. And finally, we do have the first knockout round draw here for the Champions League. Before we do get into that, though, we will have a look at who finished where in each of the groups. Starting off with Group A, rather surprisingly, Inter Milan have finished above Manchester City in that group. So that means that we could potentially play Manchester City here in the first knockout round, which would be some bit of a downer having topped our group, but Dortmund are the team out of that group who are going to drop down into the Europa League, as well as Ajax from our group. We make our way down now to Group C. Real Madrid topped that one very comfortably with a full 18 points from their 6 games. Hertha Berlin get the job done to be second qualifier there over Arsenal, who will drop down into the Europa League. Group D, Chelsea top it, Lille finish in second. Real Sociedad beat Benfica into the Europa League spot. Group E, AC Milan have gone through unbeaten, which is very, very surprising when they came out of a group which PSG were in. So PSG are another big gun here who we could be taking on in the first knockout round. Ross County do enough to finish above Shakhtar there, so Ross County will have Europa League football come the new year. That's quite interesting, of course, because we bet AC Milan in the first knockout round of the Champions League last season, so quite interesting to see that they have finished above the defending champions in that group. Group F, Juventus top at Sevilla in second. RB Leipzig not too far behind there, going down to the Europa League. Of course, they won that only a few years ago. Man United top Bayern Munich in Group G, 2 good teams, albeit we don't really hold too many fears of Bayern Munich after beating those guys in the quarterfinals last season. Midtjylland are going down into the Europa League, and Barcelona, just for some reason, finish above PSV despite the fact they are on the same points and goal differential in Group H, and it is LASK who are going to be going down into the Europa League. But it is time for us to do the first knockout round draw for the Champions League. And a very quick reminder of the teams who we could get in this round: Bayern Munich, Hertha Berlin, Lille, Manchester City, PSG, PSV, or Sevilla. I think the teams that we definitely want to avoid, Manchester City and PSG, because those definitely look like the biggest teams down there in this unseeded pot. So hopefully we don't get either of those teams, and we might be able to make our way through into the final few teams of the Champions League yet again this season. But first out of the hat are Lille. From the unseeded teams, they will get Barcelona, so that is the first tie for this first knockout round. Next up is Hertha Berlin, a team that we did beat on our way to the Europa League final, or the Conference League final earlier in the save. Can't quite remember which one, but they get drawn against Juventus. So that's already 2 teams I would have quite liked who have gone out of that unseeded hat. Next up is Napoli. We can't get those guys because they came from the same group as us, but they get Chelsea in that tie. Next out of the hat, there is one of the big guns in PSG. Hopefully they get someone like Man United or Real Madrid, and indeed they get Manchester United. So for the second straight season, Man United get quite a tough draw there in the first knockout round. Next out of the hat is PSV Eindhoven. This would be a very, very good draw considering who is left down in that second pot, but they get Inter Milan, so that doesn't leave many options for us here. Bayern Munich, Manchester City, or Sevilla. Out of those, I think it's definitely Sevilla who we would want, albeit Bayern Munich, we do know that we can beat those guys off the back of last season. They are the next team out. They will get AC Milan. So that leaves one of Manchester City or Sevilla for us to go up against. Let's very, very much hope that it is Sevilla, because Manchester City in the past have absolutely thumped us in the group stages of the Champions League. Here is Sevilla. Let's hope it's us, and thankfully it is, so we avoid Man City. That is one heck of a first knockout round tie there between those guys and Real Madrid, but thankfully we end up getting pretty much who we wanted off the back of us dropping down quite a bit in terms of that draw. But we are going to be taking on Sevilla in the first knockout round of the Champions League. A quick look at those guys when we come back to play that game tomorrow. In the new year, they are a 4.5-star reputation club. They currently find themselves 7th in La Liga. A few familiar names there, the likes of Nketiah. They've got Aljif Almas as well as Zagadou at the back, so a few decent players that they do have there in their team, but I'd like to think at this stage of the save, after finishing second in their group, we can get the job done over those guys and hopefully make our way through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League for the second straight season. And from there, hopefully, we can make our way through to the semi-finals yet again. But that will do it for today's episode, rounding off the group stage of the Champions League with that win that secured top spot against Napoli, and we showed you guys the highlights of the win off the back of that against Sochi, as well as drawing Sevilla in the first knockout round for tomorrow's episode. If you did enjoy today's one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. As I said, we will come back tomorrow at least for the first leg of that first knockout round tie against Sevilla. There's about a month in between those games, but if I can, we will come back for both of those leagues just to make up for the fact that there was no video on the channel on Monday this past week because of Queen's birthday weekends. That will catch us up. So if I can, we'll do both legs of that tie against Sevilla in the first knockout round of the Champions League. And of course, during that episode as well, the transfer window here in Iceland is going to open. We have £40 million that we can spend. We'll see if we do any business before the end of our European season. So I think that's what we're going to try and do tomorrow. Both legs of that first knockout round tie, as well as a bit of transfer activity. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.